Let's talk about one of the most famous mysteries out there, the Bermuda Triangle. It's this legendary patch of ocean that, for decades, has just captured our imaginations with all these wild tales of disappearing ships, planes that vanish, and strange forces that we just can't seem to explain. So what's the real story here? I mean, are we talking about a genuine paranormal hotspot where the laws of physics just don't apply? Or is it one of the greatest, most powerful myths ever told? Well, let's dig in and find out. Okay, first things first. Let's get our bearings. The Bermuda Triangle, which some people call the Devil's Triangle, isn't actually an official place you can find on a map. It's this kind of loosely defined area, about 500,000 square miles, sitting there in the North Atlantic. So we know where it is, but how on earth did it get such a terrifying reputation? This is where the legend really kicks off. You have to understand, this is a story that was pieced together over centuries. It's like this tapestry woven from strange events, chilling last words, all creating this genuine sense of dread around this one part of the ocean. I mean, listen to this quote. It's supposedly from the leader of the infamous Flight 19. It is pure nightmare fuel for any pilot or sailor, right? It just perfectly captures the very heart of the Bermuda Triangle legend. You have experienced professionals who are suddenly completely lost, disoriented, and being swallowed by something they just can't explain.
And this legend, it wasn't born overnight. The seeds were planted way back, even with Christopher Columbus reporting weird compass readings. But it was really the huge disappearances in the 20th century, I'm talking about the USS Cyclops and, of course, Flight 19, that cemented its scary reputation. And then, finally, it got its catchy name in a magazine back in 1964.
To really get why the legend got so big, we need to look at the two cases that are basically its foundation. These are the stories that pop into everyone's head when they hear the words Bermuda Triangle. 306. That's the number of souls, crew, and passengers that were on the USS Cyclops. This was a huge U.S. Navy ship that just vanished, without a trace, after leaving Barbados in March of 1918. No SOS call, no wreckage, nothing. It's still the single biggest loss of life for the U.S. Navy that wasn't in combat. And then you have the most famous case of all, Flight 19. We're talking 5 Navy bombers on a totally routine training flight in what was basically perfect weather. They got disoriented, their compasses were apparently going haywire, and they just flew off into oblivion. And here's the real kicker. A rescue plane they sent to go find them, a PBM Mariner with 13 guys on board, also just vanished from radar on the very same day. So the stories are absolutely terrifying, and they seem totally inexplicable. But this is where we make a big pivot. We're moving from storytelling to investigation. It's time to pull back the curtain on this myth. And this is the question that changes everything. See, legends are powerful, but they tend to get a little more dramatic every time someone retells them. So what if the original reports told a different story? A less mysterious one. And this is where a guy named Larry Cush comes in. Back in 1975, this librarian and pilot decided to do something that a lot of the mystery writers before him hadn't bothered to do. He went back to the primary sources. We're talking official Navy reports, weather records, old newspaper articles, and what he found led him to call the whole Bermuda Triangle thing a manufactured mystery. Honestly, Cush's findings were pretty stunning. He found that the writers who were hyping up the mystery just left out some pretty key facts, like, oh, there was a massive hurricane raging at the time of a disappearance, or that a ship was actually lost in the Pacific, not the Atlantic. He found that the Flight 19 pilots were actually pretty inexperienced, and that vanished rescue plane, it was a model known for being a flying bomb that probably just exploded in midair. In the end, the number of incidents wasn't even weird for a part of the ocean with so much traffic and so many storms. So Cush's work really paved the way for a much more rational look at this region, and that moves us out of the world of UFOs and lost cities of Atlantis and into the world of actual science, like meteorology and oceanography. And the contrast is pretty stark. On one side, you've got these really exciting theories, aliens, time warps, energy crystals from Atlantis, that have zero evidence. And on the other side, you have a list of real, powerful, natural forces and simple human error that we know cause disasters at sea all the time. Let's just take one of those natural explanations, the Gulf Stream. It's this incredibly powerful current that runs right through the triangle. The best way to think of it is like a massive, fast-moving river inside the ocean.
So if a plane or a ship goes down, this current can scatter the debris for hundreds of miles in just a short amount of time, making it pretty much impossible to find. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, they completely back this up. They point out that this region is basically a highway for hurricanes. It's full of treacherous, shallow waters, and just like a busy intersection on a freeway, the more traffic you have, in this case, ships and planes, the more accidents you're going to get. Their verdict is crystal clear. Nothing unusual is happening here. So, with the research done and the science in hand, we can finally get to the official stance from the organizations that actually patrol and ensure these very waters. Now this is a big one. For all its fame, all the books and movies, the Bermuda Triangle doesn't actually exist on any official map. The US government doesn't recognize it. To them, it's just another part of the Atlantic Ocean. And what about this number? 0. Well, that's the extra insurance premium that the world's most famous marine insurer, Lloyd's of London, charges for ships passing through the Bermuda Triangle. That's right. 0. The people who bet billions of dollars on ships being safe see no extra risk in this area. At all. And this quote from the US Coast Guard really just says it all. These are the people who have seen everything out there, and their conclusion is that you don't need aliens or time warps to explain these tragedies. The raw power of a storm, combined with a simple human mistake, is way more common and, frankly, way more devastating than any supernatural force we can dream up. Which brings us to our last and maybe most interesting question. We've seen the evidence, we've seen the research, we've heard the official verdicts. So why do we still love the idea of the Bermuda Triangle? Well, maybe it's just because a good mystery is always more exciting than a simple explanation. The idea of being lost to a storm is tragic for sure, but vanished into another dimension? Well, that's a story that will probably live on forever.